Does Jerry Seinfeld use punchlines? And if not, what the hell are we laughing at? Hey everybody, Jerry Corley here, standupcomedyclinic.com. Today we're just going to answer an email, somebody looking for some help on understanding some joke structure, and hopefully this tutorial will give you an insight to sort of how to study material and study jokes so you can take it and apply it towards your own approach and writing your own comedy. And if you like these videos, please hit that like button. It really does help push this out in the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully we'll be able to help more people with some comedy structure, ideas, theories, and science behind the art of comedy. I know a lot of people think that's ridiculous. You know, one guy put on there, oh yeah, the science of comedy. Yeah, that's funny by itself. It's like, they're so naive, right? They don't understand science has everything to do with comedy. If you misdirect somebody's brain, it's because the brain can't track two ideas at the same time because the brain works sequentially, not simultaneously. So it can't think of an alternate meaning and the same meaning at the same time. So you can create jokes that way because you have that advantage. It's all science-based. So if you don't know that, then it's something you need to learn if you really want to understand comedy and not fly by the seat of your pants. Hope is a great thing if you're shipwrecked, but it doesn't help when you're trying to create consistently funny comedy. So anyway, I got this email from a student of mine that I coached, and he said, so I don't want to bother you much more, Jerry. Once you mentioned Seinfeld is good at converging two ideas together. His delivery seems to be what makes it funny rather than the punchline itself. This is where I think people kind of get confused. When you're talking about punchline, you're talking about jokes where there's a surprise hidden at the end. We hold back the punchline and then we hit the punchline. But for example, if we're doing like a reverse, like an Anthony Jeselnik type of reverse. I was at the gym the other day and somebody gets on the machine right after me, raises the weight like 75 pounds, then knocks out 10 reps like it's nothing. Normally that wouldn't bother me, but that chick was pregnant. So now we set up a scenario of surprise, right? So we made people think we were talking about a man raising the 75 pounds, and then the chick is pregnant. That's a surprise joke, right? That's a reverse. In Jerry Seinfeld's way, the way he delivers material, it's more of incongruity. He likes to take two dissimilar ideas and converge them, then act it out. It's like what he does with the horse at the track. And he's like, I don't think horses really know they're racing. I think horses are at the starting gate going, I know there's a bag of oats at the end of this, and I want to get there first. So what he does is like, horses racing, what if they thought like humans? He doesn't say it, but it's implied. And if he thought like humans, now they would say this, right? So that's basically a horse is a human acted out. So it's two different ideas. Horse is a human. If a human was being logical about this, he might say this way, and he acts it out like a horse. That's his way of doing it. It's more subtle. It's more visual. It's incongruity. There's a coincidence. It's not a surprise. It's not, we don't hide the punchline. We let the audience know what the game of the scene is up front. And he says, would this be a good example? I don't like seeing people kissing in public. Sometimes it looks like two people trying to eat each other like a snake gobbling a rat. And I was like, all right, that's okay, but it's not, I think you're being surface oriented on your descriptors. And secondly, you have a bit of a short circuit here when you say people trying to eat each other like a snake gobbling a rat, because there is no each other in a snake gobbling a rat. That snake is 100% in charge, right? And it's like, so what I said here, maybe you break these up. You have two different analogies working. Like it looks like two people trying to eat each other, period. It's like a snake gobbling a rat, right? All right, it's okay. But if you got more visual, what kind of snake, boa constrictor, and what is he really doing? Gobbling a rat? No, he's swallowing a rat whole. That gives it more visceral energy, doesn't it? So it's like, so if you put that together, right, you could say, I don't like seeing people kissing in public. Sometimes it just looks like two people trying to eat each other. They start doing an open mouth kiss. It's like that guy kind of unlocks his jaw. He's like a boa constrictor trying to, swallowing a rat whole. And it's like, people say, hey, get a room. And it's like, get a room, get this guy a napkin, and I don't like PDAs. And in this case, the P stands for Python. Now, you can go further with this and examine the joke even more. It's like if it's swallowing a rat whole, there's no each other in that scenario because if that's a boa constrictor, he's 100% in charge. The way you said it was like the rat had had some sort of say, right? It's like sitting with the snake, they're trying to eat each other. Like the rat could choose his sides with his meal. Like it's a boa constrictor swallowing a rat whole. That is purely dinner for one, right? So it's like the boa constrictor said to the waitress, I'm famished. So I'll take the rotisserie rat, hold the rotisserie, and depending on how hungry I am, I might indulge in the rodent surprise. And for dessert, may I ask you what you're doing later? Right. So now we can see the boa constrictor is escalating his hunger and he's eyeballing the waitress as a possible dessert. Does this make sense? You're saying, what if a boa constrictor sat down to eat dinner? How would he order his meal? Because we set up that scenario as soon as you say, eating each other. It's more of an investigation of what you can do with that joke. But all you're doing is taking two dissimilar ideas and acting it out. The reason I actually got that came to mind was I was watching this YouTube video of a guy who owned an exotic pet store, like snakes and things like that. A woman called and said that her boa constrictor has not been eating lately. Sometimes he gets out of his cage or gets out of his tank, and she's worried that he's sick. And the guy said, "Get the hell out of there. The boa constrictor is planning to eat you because he's starving himself so he can fit you in there. So be careful." So and that that made me laugh. I said, imagine that if you're the pet owner and the boa constrictor is planning to eat you. That would be wild. There's a movie there somewhere. Anyway, so that's where that came from. Remember, if you're doing this, you're just taking two dissimilar ideas, and then you're making you're giving human traits. The boa constrictor sitting down at dinner. Does that make sense? I hope this helps. And again, if you like this stuff, hit subscribe, hit the like button. Let's push out the algorithm a little bit, and I will see you guys in the next video.